Welcome to Africa Decode, the platform where Africa's stories are broken down, examined, and explained beyond the headlines. If it matters in Africa, we decode it with facts, context, and clarity. So let's begin. In South Sudan, the fatal shooting of South Sudanese opposition lawmaker Lukamatan Tupin Luk has triggered widespread condemnation and renewed concerns over insecurity in Juba, as authorities face mounting pressure to identify and prosecute those responsible. Mathan, 36, was shot at around 10 p.m. on Saturday near his residence in the Gudele area of Juba. According to family members and colleagues, armed assailants reportedly entered his compound shortly after he returned home from prayers and opened fire. He was rushed to a nearby hospital but was pronounced dead about an hour later. Police have confirmed the arrest of two suspects in connection with the killing, although details remain limited as investigations continue. Mathen's wife, Nyana Kolde, said two additional suspects remain at large and urged authorities to ensure all those involved are apprehended and prosecuted. The acting Speaker of the Council of States, Mary Ayen Majok, described the killing as a major national loss and called on security agencies to expedite investigations. She said the leadership of the Council of State is calling on relevant authorities to expedite the investigation process, bringing the culprit to book and ensure justice for the late Lukamatan, she said in a condolences message issued on Monday. The National Democratic Movement (NDM) also condemned the assassination in a statement issued by spokesperson Kai Tap Gachang, calling it a barbaric act and urging authorities to decisively end violence attributed to so-called unknown gunmen, particularly in the capital. The party warned that such attacks undermine peace, the rule of law, and public confidence in security institutions. Mathen represented Trebit County in Lake States in the Council of States and chaired a standing specialized committee on education, research, science, and technology. He was a member of the United Sudan African Party, part of the Other Political Parties or OPP coalition signatory to the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement. He had previously worked as a court clerk and was appointed to parliament following the peace deal. Now moving on, Uganda Radio Network reported on Sunday that 9 South Sudanese nationals have been arrested in Uganda in connection with the suspected murder of their househelp in Abueru Social 1, Nansana Municipality, Wakiso district. The unidentified maid is believed to have been killed inside the residence on Friday night. Her body has not been recovered, with police suspecting it may have been secretly removed from their premises before officers gained access. According to Davis Sakadwa, the area defense secretary, the occupant of the house called a village clinical officer to treat the maid. Upon examination, the officers found the woman with severe head injuries and confirmed she was already dead. When Sakadwa and the area chairperson arrived at the house, the occupants refused to open the door despite repeated identification. Police were also denied entry, forcing officials to guard the premises overnight. Entry was later forced the following morning, but the body was not found. Blood stains were visible in the compound, suggesting that someone had died here. Neighbor Justus Nuwagawa said the occupants had minimal interaction with the community and were rarely seen. His wife, a nurse, was called to administer first aid after being told the maid had cut herself. She found the woman already deceased with a deep head wound. Nuwagawa said the occupant panicked and attempted to bribe his wife to remain silent, which she refused. Local councillor Esther Najuma reported that some occupants were seen leaving the house before police arrived, carrying large briefcases and polythene bags. Residents suspect the item may have been used to remove the body. The 9 suspects are currently detained at Nabueru Police Station. Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Rachel Kwala said she had not yet been briefed on the case but would provide updates once information becomes available. Residents have called for a thorough investigation to identify the victim, recover her remains, and ensure accountability. Now in South Sudan, 6 individuals detained since 2023 at the National Security Blue House facility over an alleged central bank money disappearance have been transferred to Malakia Police Station to face formal criminal charges. Advocate Godfrey Victor Bulan told iRadio that the transfer took place on Thursday, which is December 11, 2025, allowing police to open a criminal case after nearly 2 years of security detention. The suspects, some of whom are staff from different banks, are accused of involvement in the disappearance of an unknown amount of money from the central bank through alleged illegal financial transactions. Bullen said the legal team had repeatedly requested that the detainees be transferred to police custody so investigation could proceed under the criminal justice system. He noted that there are 16 suspects linked to the case, though only those transferred on Thursday were moved to police detention. Bullen welcomed the development, thanking national security leadership, the Ministry of Justice, and the Investigative Committee for coordinating that transfer. He said the move restored basic rights, including family visits and access to food, medication, and other essential support. However, he raised concern over the health of the detainees, saying some are in poor condition and required medical checkups and treatment. He said the transfer clears the way for the case to proceed to court for legal determination. Now, moving on to Machar trial, a special court in Juba has heard detailed testimony on a failed evacuation attempt and escalating violence in Nasser town as the trial of suspended first Vice President Riek Machar and 7 others entered its 31st session. Brigadier General Santino Akoda Bim of the South Sudan's People's Defense Forces testified that he was instructed on March 4, 2025 to coordinate an evacuation following a request from the Chief of Defense Forces. He said the operation involved coordination with humanitarian partners including UNMISS and the International Committee of the Red Cross. According to him, several evacuation attempts between March 5 and 7 failed due to poor ground coordination. During one landing, 2 white army leaders and 6 SSPDF soldiers boarded an aircraft before gunfire erupted. One SSPDF soldier later died from gunshot wounds, a crew member was killed, and 2 pilots were wounded. The aircraft returned with 16 evacuees, including 1 confirmed fatality. Captain Joseph Malonga Cod, a survivor of the March 4th attack on Wiyara Diu Barak, testified that he was trapped for days at the front line inside an armored personnel carrier with limited supplies. He told the court that 257 soldiers and the United Nations member were killed in the final assault, though he said under cross-examination that he did not personally see any of the 8 accused participating in the fighting. Machar and his co-accused face charges including murder, terrorism, treason, and crimes against humanity, which they deny. Prosecutors say that the Nasser attack resulted in the loss of military assets valued at approximately $58 million. The trial was adjourned until Wednesday. Now, moving on, South Sudan has reiterated its demand for the closure of major United Nations peacekeeping bases in Wau and Bentiu, citing sovereignty and national security concerns amid a United Nations mandated drawdown. Foreign Affairs Minister Monday Samaya Kumba told diplomats in Juba on Saturday that the government has agreed to close 7 smaller UNMISS bases, Torid, Awil, Ye, Akobo, Koch, Bonj, and Pariang, but remains firm on shutting the strategically important bases in Wau and Bentiu. Kumba criticized UNMISS for failing to adequately consult the government on a major contingency plan guiding the drawdown, describing the omission as inconsistent with host country responsibilities. He said the matter had been raised with UN Under-Secretary General for Peacekeeping Operation Jean-Pierre Lacroix. The government said it has facilitated troop repatriation, noting that between November 28 and December 10, 2025, 1,143 troops from Ghana, Nepal, Bangladesh, and India were repatriated, with nearly 2,500 more expected to leave by early January 2026. UNMISS spokesperson Priyanka Chaudhuri said the mission is required to cut spending by 15% over 6 months due to a UN financial crisis, leading to base closures, staff reduction, and operational cuts while maintaining its commitment to supporting peace and security. And finally, according to political analyst Abraham Colnyon of the University of Juba, President Salva Kiir's insistence on holding elections in December 2026 reflects a strategic effort to preserve political legitimacy but carries significant risk. Qual told Radio Tamazus that proceeding with elections may help project stability and meet international expectations, but warned that unresolved security, constitutional and political issues could undermine the credibility of the process. He identified risks including eroding public trust, marginalizing excluded opposition groups, and weakening the 2018 peace agreement if key reforms remains unimplemented. Qual also warned that excluding the main SPLM-IO faction loyal to Riek Machar could deepen political divisions and destabilize the transition. South Sudan's transitional period was extended in September 2024, delaying election for December 2024 to December 2026 amid stalled implementation of the peace agreement. That's all for today's edition of Africa Decode. Thank you so much for staying with us as we unpack the stories shaping Africa's present and future. If you found this breakdown useful, stay connected, share the conversation, and keep asking the question deeper. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and keep decoding Africa.